Who's got a pen they can grab? Let's talk about shin splints. Yes, anyone have a pen? So what we're going to do now is, let's talk about the most common shin splint you're going to see is this anterolateral. Like most people, it's the anterior tibialis that they end up with a shin splint on. It's usually somewhere in this area-ish or this area, okay? It's usually not up this high, even though this is where we'll see a lot of trigger points, but we'll see trigger points even all the way down along the bone. Remember what happens with a shin splint? It tractions off of the bone, okay? It contracts so much that it tractions off of the bone, and what happens is you get an inflammatory process right here at the attachment, okay? Which, if untreated, that leads to a stress fracture, okay, somewhere in the tibia. So let's just say, you know, this is the most exquisite tenderness that he's got, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to mark that because we want to make sure that that's under our unload, okay? And then what we're going to do is we have to figure out that what the area is like. How far out does this all go? So then what I'm going to do is just kind of go up and we're going to see, and when we're really dealing with a true inflammatory process, it is going to be jump off the table, don't put pressure there. A lot of that, what you just had me do, that's a trigger point, okay? That's a jump response from a trigger point that's in there. So unless he has an active tibial periostitis. So what we're going to do is we're going to find, like, say that's it. Let's go up a little. Like, how bad does that feel? How's that? And then if they're like, no, it's not really tender there anymore, then that's our top edge of the unload. Then we're going to go down a little bit. How far down does this spread? And then he's going to say, no, after that it doesn't feel too bad. And then we have to go how far laterally? No, out there we're okay. So now we're creating the edge of what has to be under our unload. On this side, we don't have to really palpate because this is bone here, okay? What we need to make sure that we do, though, is when we put our cover roll on, it comes all the way over here because we need it to attach, and then we need to create an anchor placement for our strips. So we are going to even go a little bit further out this way to create space for our anchor, okay? So you're going to see that in a second, but that's all I need. Often I see you guys making, like, let's do the whole shin. Like, we don't have to do that. We just have to focus in on where is the very specific, the worst part of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the shape that I need. I had pre-cut a piece off because I didn't know what kind of leg shape I was going to have. So now I create, and even that's a little wide still. You see that? So I'm going to take a little bit off and a little bit off, and I'm going to make it as specific as possible to him. So now I'm going to fold back and I'm going to take my edges off. Okay, and then what we're going to do is a spray. So we need to spray this whole area here, okay? Because remember, our tape's gonna go on. Then I can always put a little powder around it if it's still a little sticky, but you're gonna see I'm gonna wrap it, so we're not gonna do that. So we're gonna do a light spray, just because he's not going out to play right now, but that would be heavier if it's really for in play. Okay, now while that's going, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut my strips. Okay, I'm going to teach you all how to do this. So we're going to create a half cut. You're going to pull down on one and up on the other, because if you don't, that's going to pop completely off and you're going to be in leukotape mess. I'm going to guess for his shin that I need this length. Okay. And then I'm ready to put this down. So what's good is when you use a pen, you can see your edges. Okay, so now I've got him covered, that in there, okay? I could have even made this a little bit smaller, but I'm gonna show you why I didn't do that, because we need anchors. So here we go. I'm gonna measure my anchor directly to my length of my white, rip it, and then rip it again. Now the frayed edge of my rip is gonna go facing in. And do you see that mark? That's as far out as we have to go. So I have to be just on the outside of that. You see that? Or right on top of it is not wrong. Because he has no pain under that point. So my anchor has to go outside to encompass that, because we're gonna unload it. Then we know this is all bone over here, so I just need space to put my anchor. Got it? Frayed edge on the inside. Now we're gonna put our pieces. So now here's the unload. You take a piece apart. When I mentioned about the traction injury, right? It's pulling this way. So what I'm gonna do with my unload is pull everything towards the bone. So I'm gonna anchor my first strip with my thumb. I'm gonna come over here, pinch and lift. I'm doing a lifting technique, okay? Then I take this strip and I pull it. And you see the wrinkling that's gonna happen? This is when wrinkles are okay, because we're literally unloading the soft tissue that's injured. I'm then gonna take this piece here, pinch it, squeeze and lift, and place it down. I'm going towards the bone. This is the only instance really where you do it like this. Of all the other times we're gonna do the unloads in all the other places for the rest of the semester, you're gonna pull one way and then the other, and then one way and the other. We're gonna create the basket weave, offloading the tissue that's under here. But because this is a traction injury, we're going all towards the bone, okay? So then we're gonna overlap 50% of the first one going in the same direction, lift and pull, place, lift and pull. Does everybody see that? Place, my thumb anchors, lifts, pull, lay it down. Place, lift. Now it's this thumb, or this middle finger is anchoring so it doesn't pop off. I lift, squeeze, and lay it down.
So we're not going towards the bone on
Ooh,
both
ooh,
ones?
oh, hold on. No. Back. Yes, we have to go towards the bone. Let me make some more because I didn't make enough. Okay. Here. Wait. Let's go over that one again. Here, pinch, lay down. Here, pinch, lay down. Towards.
So they're all going towards the bone.
Everything's got to go towards the bone. 50% of the one that went in the same direction towards the bone. 50% over that one, creating this X pattern or basket weave. Make sense? Okay, so now we've got all of our X's, but everything went that way. Then we're going to re-anchor those strips so they don't come up. Anchor. And then our last anchor is for those. To close it in. Okay, now an athlete could go out with just this if that's all they wanted. If you sprayed enough in consideration of the heat and humidity, and maybe you did a double spray, that should stay in place. If you're concerned that it won't, what you could do is have them stand up on this. Now, normally I'd bring them to the floor, but for the purposes of the demo, so you can all see, And then we have these little like things that we step on. These are old pieces of tape because I don't like to put the heel up on fresh tape because it'll compress this. So we're gonna just lift the heel a little, let him relax his leg there, and then you would do the rest of the spray around, okay, to get his leg, because now we're gonna do a wrap. When you do a wrap around any area, all I need is to put that pre-wrap just there, right on the edge of the tape. And then I come up and all I have to do is finish just on the edge of the tape. You see that? Because now what we're gonna do is 50% on the skin. Okay, now here comes some fancy taping. You've seen before the spiral. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna mimic that basket weave effect. We're gonna come up, around, and aim downward. Loop around, up. You see it? I'm following that one. Harrison, are you getting this?
Yes.
Okay. And then I aim down again. Do you see that? Up, around, and down. Do you see it? Up, I have to have 50% on that skin. And then I finish laterally so that no shoe or foot or cleat will take off this piece. So now you see the basket weave effect that we created in the unload. So we further unloaded the whole rest of the muscle with the wrap. Okay? Again, they could have gone out just like that. You could have even layered maybe a piece of coverall on top of that if you thought this athlete doesn't want all this tape on their leg. And you could have just covered it with coverall to make sure it would stay, or you do a full wrapping. Okay? Mm-hmm.
Are you concerned about wrinkles for like soccer players when their shin guards are like right there putting a lot of compression on that?
No, I'm not concerned at all because it's just the shin guard's gonna sit right on top of this,
Yeah.
and no, it's not gonna touch their skin at all.
Okay.
Yep.